This is Mongolia, the 18th largest country in the world. A land so vast that big states like India's Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, and Uttar Pradesh could easily fit inside it. But here's the strange part. Despite its massive size, 99.7% of Mongolia is completely empty. Only 0.03% of the country is inhabited. So, why is it like this? Let's dive in and find out. First, let's take a look at Mongolia's geography. This country, located between Russia and China, is mostly covered by mountains and vast deserts. Mongolia sits in the polar zone, which means that most of the country experiences extremely cold temperatures. The northern and western parts are particularly harsh. These areas are dominated by high-altitude mountain ranges that make it nearly impossible to live. The south and east aren't much better, with conditions so extreme that even the hardy Bactrian camels can't survive here. So, where does the population live? Only a small triangle in the central part of the country is warm enough to sustain life. This area is shielded by the surrounding mountains, which protect it from the cold winds from the northwest and the desert winds from the southeast. While most of Mongolia suffers from temperatures as low as -50 degrees Celsius, this small region experiences an average temperature of -2.9 degrees Celsius. Still cold, but a huge difference. But temperature isn't the only factor that makes Mongolia's land so empty. The soil is another key reason. Almost all of Mongolia is covered in permafrost, a layer of permanently frozen soil. This makes agriculture impossible in most parts of the country. In the areas that are not covered by snow, the soil is either too rocky or too salty to support farming. It's just not suitable for human habitation. Now let's talk about rainfall. Mongolia is one of the driest countries in the world, but the central valleys, especially around the capital Ulaanbaatar, do receive some rain. This is due to something called orographic rainfall. The mountains trap the rain clouds, causing them to release moisture in the valley. While the annual rainfall is low, only about 300 to 400 millimeters, it's enough to make the soil fertile in this small region. But geography alone doesn't explain the emptiness of Mongolia. The country's history plays a huge role in its sparse population. Let's rewind to the 18th century. At that time, Mongolia had a population of around 1 million people, but everything changed in 1687, when a single war wiped out 80% of the population. The Qing dynasty, seeking revenge for past conquests by Genghis Khan, defeated the Mongolian Dzungar dynasty in what is now known as the Dzungar genocide. In that war, 800,000 out of 1 million Mongolians were killed. This tragic event decimated the country's population and set the stage for Mongolia's slow recovery. At the same time, Buddhism began spreading through Mongolia. While Buddhism is known for its peaceful teachings, it had an unexpected effect on the Mongolian population. After centuries of war and conquest, the Mongols embraced Buddhism as a way to bring peace to their nation. But in a land surrounded by aggressive empires, this ideological shift toward peace had a dark side. The Mongols, who had once been fierce warriors, were now less prepared for the brutal invasions that followed, and this contributed to the population decline. By the early 20th century, Mongolia was in desperate need of repopulation. But after the Qing dynasty's rule ended in 1921, Mongolia was still struggling. That's when the Soviet Union entered the picture. The USSR, driven by its own economic and political interests, saw an opportunity in Mongolia. They began supporting the country in every way possible, diplomatically, militarily, and economically. This Soviet intervention helped Mongolia recover its population, but not out of kindness. The USSR had its own motives, and Mongolia was caught in the middle of Cold War politics. Mongolia's story is one of immense geographical and historical challenges, but through it all, the lessons learned from their past can inspire us to rethink how we approach the future. Thank you for watching.